Today I'm showing you 5 different positions to do your pelvic floor exercises during pregnancy. If you're pregnant and new to my channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button below so you don't miss any of my pelvic floor tips for an empowering birth and postpartum recovery. Having worked with hundreds of moms-to-be in my clinic, I know that some women feel more connected to their pelvic floor in certain positions versus others. Ultimately, we just want to find the position in which you feel most connected with your pelvic floor so you can focus on quality practice versus quantity. So let's dive into the 5 different positions that you can try. The first position is sitting. This is the most classic position to do pelvic floor exercises. And what is nice about it is that it is easy to integrate in your daily life. So some moms-to-be like to do their exercise at their desk at work. Others will do them at the red light in their car or during their commute. So let's try and engage our pelvic floor in this position. Just picturing picking up a berry with your vagina and lifting up in your pelvis and holding it here and now releasing. You can even experiment with different upper body positions, so leaning forward a little bit and trying here or sitting upright or even leaning back and see if that makes a difference in your sensation. Maybe you will feel more connected to your pelvic floor in certain positions of your upper body versus others. What I also like about this position is that you can straddle a rolled towel in order to feel the movement of your pelvic floor when you squeeze and relax. So with the towel here, you can try again and squeeze and then release, and normally you should feel a difference of pressure on the towel on the squeeze versus the release. The second position is calves on a stool with pelvis elevated. So basically you have your legs just resting on a chair or a sofa and you have pillows or cushions under your pelvis to elevate it. You can see that when the pelvic floor engages like this, it squeezes and lifts, right? And so it's a low gravity position, so that means that your pelvic floor is not going to work as hard to achieve this versus in this position, say in the sitting or standing position, where it has to lift against the weight of your baby and your upper body weight. So let's try again here to pick up the berry with the vagina and lift it up. And oftentimes when people have trouble feeling the lift of the pelvic floor in the sitting position, they will feel it much more in that reclined position. All fours is also considered a low gravity position as your belly bump is not putting pressure in any way on your pelvic floor. So again, trying to contract your pelvic floor here, so squeezing, lifting that berry up into your pelvis with your vagina, holding for a few seconds and releasing. It can be tempting to use our glute muscles in this position, so make sure that you're staying nice and relaxed in those butt muscles. And I know for myself that staying in this position for a full set of 10 reps is way too much on my shoulders and on my wrists. So you could also go on your elbows if that feels better to you, or you could have a stool or an exercise ball in front where you can hang out. Position number 4 is the deep squat. So this one is absolutely genius for anyone who wants to connect more with the release part of their pelvic floor exercises, which is super important when we think of preparing for labor and pushing. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that end of thing, I would suggest that you sign up for my free birth prep masterclass in the description below, because you'll learn all the details about what you can do in pregnancy to prepare your pelvic floor for an easy birth. Being in this position, sometimes the bump can get in the way. I'm 28 weeks right now, so of course my bump is a bit bigger, so that's why I'm gonna put a prop here under my bum and I'm having the wall behind me to support. But if you were earlier in pregnancy, you are welcome to simply go in a deep squat without any support. So what this position does is it puts your pelvic floor already in a stretched position right from the get-go, so you can feel better that movement when you squeeze and release. So let's try again, picking up that berry with the vagina, contracting our pelvic floor, lifting it up, and now releasing. And I don't know for you, but for me, I really feel that release and that, you know, like that opening of the vagina, like a flower blooming. So great position to focus on that release and that opening of the muscles. And our last position option is going to be on the back or side lying. So you have different options here. You could have your legs down and try a squeeze and a release. See how that feels. You could have your knees up and again squeezing, releasing. I find that in this position we need to be careful about not engaging the inner thigh and the butt muscles, so that is one thing to pay attention to. You could have props on both sides and have your legs nice and relaxed, or you could have even your knees together and your feet wider. As always in pregnancy, when we're working on our back, we want to make sure that we're not nauseated, dizzy, or short of breath. If that is the case, then prop yourself up a little bit with pillows. If not, you could also go on a side lying position. So side lying, I like to have something in between my knees to keep my legs nice and parallel. And again, squeezing the pelvic floor, lifting it, and releasing. So now you have plenty of options to practice your pelvic floor exercises during pregnancy for as long as you choose the one that you feel the most connected with your pelvic floor. Note that I did not suggest the standing position as an option, and it's not that it's a bad position to do your pelvic floor exercises, but it just tends to be much more challenging for people as there is much more going on in terms of muscle activation when you're standing up. So I tend to recommend the standing position for my advanced clients who have demonstrated the ability to do the exercises properly in the other positions first. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and I'll see you later in another one of my videos. Thanks for watching.